talk about being in search of absolute certainty. You know, I can't go outside today. I can't leave my house because I need to make sure that everything is going to be perfectly safe when I go outside. That no bad things are going to happen to me. That I'm not going to get hit by a car because some drunk driver swerves and goes up on the sidewalk. I have to be certain that the person passing me on the street isn't going to suddenly whip out a knife or a gun and try to kill me. I have to have absolute certainty that any building I walk into isn't going to collapse or catch on fire or something. I'm going to be trapped in there. I have to have absolute certainty that nothing bad is going to happen to me. That I'm not going to have some medical issues come up. You know, especially me being diabetic, that my blood sugar is going to go too low or something like that. I have to have absolute certainty. Not just any kind of certainty, but absolute certainty. Well, you know, in that case, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in this house. But even then, I start to worry. Like, how can I be sure I'm absolutely safe at home? I can't. What if this building catches on fire? What if somebody breaks in and tries to kill me? I can't be absolutely sure, because the more I try to think about it and think about it and think about it, the more I become unstable in my world of certainty. Now, I'm just telling you something because this reminds me, you know, of the thinking process that was going on in my head when I was suffering from anxiety attacks. I used to suffer from anxiety attacks. I've talked about that many times. And it was basically not so much because we live in a world of uncertainties. It's because I demanded that the world be certain, that everything be certain, that I have absolute certainty of knowledge. Absolute certainty that everything was okay. And that's something you can never have. You can never have absolute certainty. You can never be absolutely sure about anything. You know, am I a butterfly dreaming he's a man? You know, or maybe I'm a man dreaming he's a butterfly. I don't know. I can never be absolutely sure. How do I know that I'm not in the middle of a dream, that this is really a dream? I can never be absolutely sure. There's no test that can give me absolute certainty, because if I do any test, everything that I'm doing in that test could be part of the dream. It's telling me that this is the real world. So, you know, that's one of those deep things in philosophy. And I used to always think that when I was going through the anxiety attacks, as I was overcoming it, I started thinking, you know what, I didn't really have a psychological problem. It was a philosophical one. Because it's the type of things that philosophers have been thinking about for centuries. This whole question of absolute certainty. Being certain. Having absolute certainty in knowledge. And I think about, that's one of the reasons why I think David Hume was very appealing to me in philosophy. You know, when he basically come to the conclusion that our knowledge is very, very limited. It's extremely limited. There's so many things that we claim as knowledge that we really don't know. But you can't be absolutely, you know, skeptical either. Because if you come up with absolute skepticism and say, well, there's nothing we can know. Well, if that's true, then it's the one thing that you do know. So you do know something. So therefore, you can't say that there's nothing you can know. You know that you can't know anything. So absolute skepticism doesn't work. But neither does absolute certainty. So we kind of live in this halfway world of things. I think what we can do, though, is be reasonable. And that's the one thing I had to learn in overcoming anxiety attacks. Living in a world with a certain degree of uncertainty. There are things I feel fairly certain about, or fairly sure about. Yes, feel fairly sure about. But you can never be absolutely certain. You know, I think that's one of the reasons why I kept mentioning about, you know, trusting your feelings. It wasn't like I was trying to be a magic thinker or living in some la-la land of thoughts and stuff like that. It's just the thing about realizing that you have to kind of balance things. And there is a trusting your feelings that, okay, it's okay to drink my coffee. If I go to a restaurant and have coffee, or I make my own coffee, I don't have to be like a paranoid person, somebody who's paranoid and wondering, oh my God, did they poison it? Oh, it smells a little bit funny. It's just, there are people who can get that way. And I wasn't quite that way, but you get that way about other things. You start wondering, am I going to be okay? Like I used to get on a train and wonder, am I going to be okay? Am I going to be okay? What if something happens to me? What if I have a heart attack? What if I pass out? Then people might think I'm drunk, but I could have some serious medical thing going on. How do I do this and how do I do that? Which kind of reminds me, I do need to get one of those medical alert thing bracelets that says I'm diabetic, but which I've been putting off. I do need to do that in case I do fall out of something. I don't want people to think I was just some person who was drunk. That I might actually need medical attention, instead of another martini. Although another martini would not be too bad, except that wouldn't be good for breakfast. But anyway, that's all I have to say. It's just, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's just something to think about. That you can really drive yourself crazy when you have this demand for absolute certainty. And, backing off of that and learning to live with a certain degree of uncertainty can make a big improvement in your life. Because when I absolutely had to know things, I was stressed out. But when I say it's okay if I don't know everything, it's okay if I'm ignorant about some things. It's the extreme of it, of the I must absolutely know. That's when you have problems. That can stress you out. It's something to think about.